48-hour art check.
Yes.
Episode or round 11. We're well into the double digits now.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So here we
Yes. I'm not sure why, but I'm not able to see you.
Oh, right. I need to...
Which is kind of a weird thing.
Sorry.
I just noticed that.
Let me do this really fast. Now everybody knows our secret. Okay, there we go.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So, yeah, so we got to jump right into it because Artcasters is again tonight, Wednesday. I know you're really busy, so let's jump in.
All right.
What have you been up to?
I have not done a ton this time, but you can see here I'm working on a page, and I'm trying to do something that is a little different than what I normally do. This is a scene where the husband is leaving, and you start to realize that that the wife might do something to the bird, because that's the whole story is on the correct. It's called The Tongue-Cut Sparrow. This picture book that I'm telling, and so he takes off after kind of befriending this bird, and she hates this bird, and so I'm trying to do kind of this this thing where it's a little ambiguous or a little shady. We're not exactly sure what she's feeling, but it feels slightly ominous, and and I'm kind of mixing it with some stuff I've seen. Kind of Joel Jones and Sean Gordon Murphy and a few of those guys do that kind of comic book style where you just throw like proportion and ratios out the window, and you just go for like kind of a surreal composition. And so I haven't actually seen that much in children's books, and so mainly I've been playing with that. It doesn't look like much, but it's this is like the 10th version that I've done, and I think I'm close. I think I want to add some other stuff. And then the other thing I did was I have gotten really upset with stupid toxic fans going after creators and actors and writers and artists and stuff, and so I made this video about like just like things, and I have like a series of those lined up that I'm kind of excited to do, because I don't like, if you don't like something, just don't like, move on. I don't understand the whole thing. So I have gotten a vlog out as well, so that's good. So that's what I did.
I'm excited about it. I think I messaged you too, because I still haven't had time to see that one yet, but I'm really looking forward to it because just the title of it makes me really excited about that video.
Yeah.
Because I can relate. All right. Well.
So what did you do?
So I got the first panel about a little over three quarters of the way done. So I'm not quite there. It's taking longer than I thought it would.
Okay. And you thought it would take a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted it would take a while, but I thought I would have it at least finished and the shading done on it and stuff. But it's just it's hard to calculate that kind of thing, but I'm happy with how it's coming out. So
it's looking good, but that's a lot of ruled lines. For some reason, the ruler takes forever.
Oh yeah, and I use a rolling ruler, which speeds it up a lot. And for those of you who don't know, like, what kind of ruler that is, please don't like go out to the art store if you're interested in it and just get that plastic one with the plastic wheels. It's terrible. It took me a long time to find out what this was, because it was an old tool of my dad's who used to do paste up back in like the 70s and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And it was just laying around the garage, and it's like I just had no idea what this thing was, but I loved using it. And it has like metal wheels, and it's much more secure, and it's got a tilt to it so the ink doesn't dry, like it doesn't smear. And I finally found it. It's called a map maker's ruler. Or a map maker's rolling ruler, and you can find them on Amazon for a pretty decent price, and it'll save you a ton of time.
That's awesome.
Because once, like, especially with parallel lines like windows and stuff like that, if you're hand doing it, or if you're smart, you just won't rule out anything at the beginning, and then you're not stuck with it. Because to me, that's the general rule of thumb. If you're gonna rule out some lines, then you got to rule them all out.
Right. Yeah,
um,
I used to rule stuff, and it took me forever, and I have been trying to just do everything with a brush lately. I don't know if that's better or worse, but now I have no straight lines.
yeah, I think it just depends on your intention and the final result you want.
Right.
Because both styles work really effectively. You know, it's like I think for the book you're working on, I think it's perfect.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I happen to be doing
because
a
it's
story that's like all in the forest and at the lake, and everything is made by hand by one woodsman, and so it's all kind
yeah.
of wonky anyway. So yeah.
All right. So what have been your struggles?
Let's see, struggles. Not a ton really. Little loss of momentum coming off of that week last week where everything was nuts, and I did that. My family's back in town, and my wife is leaving again tomorrow. She's a long distance runner, and it's relay season, so she's gonna go do a Ragnar relay tomorrow. So we're kind of getting ready for that a little bit. Just family time. There hasn't really been much of a struggle. I went on a ride with my daughter. We got on the motorcycle and went and chased the sunset for a while. Stuff like that. So it's time consuming,
Nice.
but I wouldn't consider it a struggle. I mean, unless
Yeah.
you're only looking at it from like the art perspective, I haven't been able to do much just because I've been spending time with those guys.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Did you just casually mention that your wife's a long distance runner? Because that's fascinating.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's way more hardcore than I am. Like she'll just go out and be like, "Oh man, I only ran 10 miles today." It's like, what? Yeah. So she does like half marathons and relays where they drive around in vans for like 48 hours and take turns running legs, and so they'll go run like 8 miles in the mountains, and then the van will catch up, and the next person will run the next 6 to 12 miles or whatever. And this
Nice.
one, out of the two vans, she's got the longest distance.
Oh man,
But anyway, yeah, so she's pretty awesome. Also an opera singer. So yeah, she's an interesting character. But yeah.
that's rad. That's
So
cool to have eclectic people in your life, you know?
oh yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So how about you?
that's so my biggest struggle is once again, I mentioned this last time, kind of touched on it a little bit, but we just have an incredible rush season at my work, and it's very draining when I get home. Um, and so that's both a struggle, and it's also a good incentive to kind of get into one of the things we mentioned last time, and I'm going to ask you about this too. So maybe I'll save some of my time for that. But exercise. So I'm continuing to exercise. I've hit it every day since the last time we talked, and I'm hoping every time we talk, I'll be having a shake, which means that I've like a little protein smoothie thing, because that means I actually did my exercise.
Cool.
If I don't have a protein smoothie when we're talking, I probably didn't stick with it. But yeah, so that's both a struggle and an accomplishment, because I feel good about that, and also it makes me feel better. Like I was so exhausted, and then I just did that for 30 minutes and got a boost of energy. Another thing that has little to do with art, but just kind of gave me like a lot of encouragement, was like I got home today, and my son handed me 3 drawings that he had folded in this like adorable way and put into like a red envelope and put a sticker on it. And he was all excited that I was home, and he was like, "Dad, Dad." And he's like, pretty much like wanted to give me this envelope with these drawings that he did of like an iPad like screen with all this stuff on it, and like different like just funny things that he draws. But he was like explaining them to me, and he was so excited to just kind of share that with me, and it just made my day. Like
Yeah.
it made my day awesome, and reminded me of like the whole purpose of like kind of like constantly working and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter, because they just got back from Disneyland. I mentioned that before, but I walked up. She hasn't painted in a really long time because we have just like kind of art supplies around, and
Mhm.
and She was painting the other day. She was all inspired. She was doing the Splash Mountain. So she had like the log and the river and like the stuff going on the side, and you know. It was
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool to see her do that. Because she's been into like different things. She's been writing a lot lately. It's just cool to see like kids, when you don't go out of your way to like squash the creativity, they are just creative.
Yeah.
Like I think.
Yeah, and like kind of unbelievably so. Like it almost worries me because he likes drawing so much that I'm like, you're gonna be an artist, which is like I'm stoked for him, and it's cool. Maybe we'll have that in common. But there's also a side of me that's like, you should really get into science.
Oh man!
All right. Yeah. So what's your goal for the next?
Let's see. So my plans. So I did work out yesterday. I did 15 minutes on the rowing machine, which doesn't seem like a lot. But I'm about 35 pounds overweight, and I haven't done anything for a month, so that was about all I could do.
It's a good start.
Some push-ups, and then I'll be doing that again tonight, and I'm hoping to do that. I want to get in at least five workout sessions a week, so
nice.
So I'm going to do that right after this, and then I'm going to get that page to where I like it. I want to get some more elements in there, but I want to keep the values about like this, and so I'll be kind of working in some more detail, but I want to keep it fairly kind of Frank Miller noir lighting, like kind of stark because of the mood. So I'm gonna fight that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the goal would be to kind of finish up those pencils. Let's see, it's Wednesday. Yeah, so I need to get it printed before we. So I pencil digitally now, and then I'll print it, and I need to get it printed before we meet again on Friday, so that I can ink it this weekend, and that'll keep me on track. So that's my plan.
Cool. And so far, you feel like you're kind of on point to hit your mark?
Yeah, I think I solved the most difficult part of it, and now I just have to figure out how to get the details to not be overwhelming and to retain the values that I want. And so, they've got to be really dense or blacked out in the black spots and kind of a mid-tone grayish value in the middle. So I'm trying to figure out exactly kind of what that mountain will contain, and if I want to bring in other elements of the story, like different things. Nobody knows the story. So, but yeah, I've got to decide like how much or how little is going to be too much. And so it'll still be a lot of experimentation, but I think I'm on track to get it.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So my goal, I'm just going to get into it, is to finish that panel for sure. I think I'll get a lot done tonight because we have Artcasters tonight. It's on Scott's channel, Scott Strickland's channel. And our special guest is Kevin Cross, which should be kind of cool. Yeah, it's a good friend of mine. We rarely get the chance to talk because we're both so busy. So it'll be a good time to catch up. And then the nice thing about Artcasters is I tend to get like a ton of drawing done during it. So I think I'll get a little further than probably finishing that panel, hopefully tonight. That's my hope. And so I'm hoping by the next time we talk, I'll have at least that panel done and maybe the second panel. I'd like to at least, honestly, I think I should just commit to that. I'll say first and second panel by the next time we talk.
That's
and
a
then
lot.
Just staying consistent with the working out is a huge one too. And that's necessary because it's like otherwise I just get burned out and tired. And then the weird thing is I have a little more trouble sleeping.
Right.
So it's kind of like a weird cycle where it's like you don't want to work out because you're tired, but then you're tired because you're not working out. And so to me, it's just one of those, like, it's got to happen. It's got to become a part of my routine. So we'll hold each other to that working out thing by next time. But I'm stoked you did it. That's cool. That's massive. So
it's that public accountability thing, you know. I said I would.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
But
so yeah, that's pretty much the goal, and I guess that's it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Now we usually plan for 3 minutes now, but do you need to go because you're on live in 11 minutes, right?
Yeah, I gotta get going. But
Cool.
should we just wrap it? I mean, just to wrap up this, I'm gonna watch your video, so you guys should all watch that too. About uh, what was the title again? It's so appealing.
Now I
I
can't
want
remember the title, but it's basically I chose to like things. Like I
Yeah,
went through this addictive phase of, and that's the next couple of videos that I'm going to talk about. Is I think there's a psychological reason that we all enjoy tearing stuff apart, and I started to realize that I don't like movies. That I'm like going to movies and I'm looking for reasons to dislike them, and so it's a whole video just basically about like, hey, let's all chill out and just enjoy the medium. You know, enjoy movies, enjoy comics, enjoy books, and
yeah.
stop looking for reasons. And I talk about some tips that I've learned being a fairly cynical person. I talk about some tips on how to do that. So
So yeah, so you guys should watch that. I'm gonna watch that probably first thing tomorrow. Maybe I'll just put it on while I'm on my commute and listen to it. Because that's something I think about a lot, and so something I've always said is it's a lot easier to burn things than to build them,
oh yeah,
and it's just it's true, and it's like I find that true in myself too. Like it's I'm so much more motivated if like I see a politician that I just want to rip apart, or like on Facebook or whatever, because I'm like I don't agree with what they're doing. It's There's not very often that I see somebody I agree with and go like, hey, great job, you're doing a good job, or
right.
like, wow, beautiful artwork. And so that's something I've been consciously trying to work on. So I'm stoked to hear about that video. So
Yeah.
I'll check that out by the next time we talk, and then we'll kick ass and get our work done. Pardon my language. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
So,
this will be
all
great.
right.
Okay, so if you want to check out Josh's stuff, go to quarterlystories.com. Also, Josh and Scott and Kevin will all be on Artcasters coming up here momentarily on Scott's channel, which is Cirque Work. So if you're watching this, go watch that too, because it'll be awesome. My stuff can be found at corykerr.com, and there's all kinds of goodies there, including should be up soon the newest blog post, which is basically the video and a couple thoughts and a little list. And then special thanks to No Saboteurs, Josh's band, for licensing the music to the intro music. And we will see you guys on Friday. We are out.
Bye.